I had all kinds of plans this week and I got nothing done because I got a migraine. I know why I got the migraine, but it doesn't make a difference because it's so frustrating to have a chronic condition, especially a chronic pain condition, when you're a creative person who has goals and dreams and plans, and it all tanks. It's all destroyed because you got a migraine. There's still so much people don't understand about migraines. So in this video, fellow migraine sufferers, fellow creatives, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like when I get a migraine, what impacts my life, and what I try to do to fix that, because I don't know that there is an absolute guarantee or an absolute fix. So far, I haven't found it, but I'm working towards it. So if you're a migraine sufferer, or if you want to find out what it's like to work in a creative field with a chronic condition, a chronic medical condition, then stick around because we're going to talk about it. I'm author Nancy Basile and I write mysteries. You can get one of mine for free using the link in the description below. So what happens when I get a migraine? Well, this week, the reason I got a migraine is twofold. One, I cleaned our guinea pig cage. I know that sounds crazy, but our guinea pig cage is about waist high and I was bent over the whole time. The last time I cleaned it, I got a migraine, and I really hoped that this time I stretched enough afterwards. Guess what? It didn't work because my migraines, one of the triggers is tension or stiffness or bad alignment through my back and or neck and shoulders. I've had physical therapy for it, and the stretches didn't work. The second reason I got a migraine was because I watched too much TV this week. We've been binge watching a show on Netflix that I really enjoy. So we've been watching that in the evening. And then this week was the presidential debate, and I really wanted to stay up to watch it. And even though my head was pounding, I was trying to push through it, knowing I was going to pay for it. And my husband finally said, "Is your head hurting?" And I said, "Yes." He was like, "That's it. You're done. Go to bed." And I went to bed, but guess what? It ruined pretty much my whole week. Today is Friday. It's the first day I feel really good. Stupid. Stupid. Don't push through things. Try to protect your head. That's what triggered my migraine this week. And then I spent the rest of the week trying to get rid of it. I tried sleeping, which of course kills productivity. You can't write a book or make YouTube videos or anything else if you're asleep in bed. And getting sleep is like the number one way I protect my head and the number one way I get rid of headaches. Didn't work. I can't focus because one of the things people who don't get migraines don't realize is people who do get migraines, it affects it's not just a headache. It's not just a headache. You have a brain fog. Sometimes you can't see very well or hear very well, or you get giddy, or you get depressed or anxious. Well, I got the depressed this week and could barely get off the couch one day, and I certainly couldn't focus because I couldn't put two words together. I could hardly read a sentence. The migraine was making me so, I don't want to say ADHD, but you can't focus. You can't do your work. So the sleep impacted my productivity. The lack of focus impacted my productivity. And I couldn't sit at my computer and type. I couldn't work. Not because of the screen. I will admit there are probably people who get migraines who can't from eye strain or from looking at screens for too long. That's not me. That's not one of my triggers. But the alignment of my neck, shoulders, and spine and holding my shoulders up to type, I look like an idiot right now, that stiffness creates a problem for my pain. And so having a migraine, I couldn't sit at my desk. I try to sometimes use my laptop in those instances, but it didn't work this week. So no writing got done. And on top of it, what little focus I had, what little insight I had through my brain fog was spent trying to get rid of the pain, trying to get rid of the migraine. It's like your whole focus becomes the migraine. It takes over everything. It takes over your thinking. And then it causes, a lot of times for me, a downward spiral. Because while I'm suffering, I'm thinking of all the ways I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm not getting anything done. And thank goodness I have a partner who helps me out and takes care of me, that my children are pretty much adults and take care of themselves. I didn't start getting migraines till I was 50. If I had gotten migraines 10, 20 years ago when my kids were little, when I was working full time, I don't know what I would have done. I am a very, very lucky migraine sufferer because I have a lot of support, a lot of care, and I have great doctors. I know there are people out there who don't have that. Those are all the ways my productivity was impacted this week. I had lots of plans. Those plans went in the toilet. And if you are a creative person, if you're anyone who wants to accomplish something and you get migraines, you know exactly how frustrating this is because it turns you into an invalid. No one likes that. No one wants to be that. Let me know in the comments what you do when a migraine hits and you want to overcome that. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've been trying to do to overcome those roadblocks when I get one, or how I alleviate them. But I'd love to know in the comments what your migraine experience is like. All of us who suffer from migraines are always looking for new things to try to make our lives better, right? I know I am. That's all the bad stuff. So what did I do? What do I do to try to still overcome that condition and try to eke out some kind of productivity? What strategies have I used to overcome the migraine? Let's talk about just the headache first. I talked about sleep. Unfortunately, taking a big old nap and getting lots of sleep at night is the number one way I take care of my head. It's not great. I don't like it. I don't like it at all because it eats up time out of the day. But it is the number one way that works for me. I get botox treatments every 3 months. Sounds glamorous, is not glamorous. I get about 30 shots across my forehead and through my scalp, down my neck and across my shoulders. I was skeptical, and the first time I got it, the Botox kicked off a horrible migraine. So now when I get my treatments, I have to take a steroid that day and sometimes a day or two after I get the treatment. But now that I've had several treatments, it does help control my triggers. Sound is a huge trigger for me, and the Botox, in addition to other medication I take, has helped control my triggers. So the Botox works in conjunction with the ajovy shots I take. I take those once a month. I give them to myself. So those two things somehow work together. Initially, I was just doing ajovy, and it was okay. The Botox helps. What else do? I take rizatriptan as a rescue drug. I don't like taking it. I don't think it's terribly effective. It makes me really sleepy, which is the thing I'm trying to avoid, sleeping all the time. Makes me really sleepy. I'm going to say it takes hours for it to kick in. It dissolves under my tongue, but it doesn't kick in for a very long time. And I want that migraine to go away like right now. And yes, you have to take it like as soon as you feel like a flicker of a migraine happening. Sometimes I know a migraine is happening because of my emotions. I get incredibly depressed. I suffer from depression, which doesn't help, but like extra depressed. And where I'm going to cry all the time. Like the tears are just under the surface. And I think, ooh, I bet I'm getting a headache. And so then I try to take the rescue drug. It's not as effective as other methods. One thing I've discovered recently, now that I know that the tension in my neck and shoulders is a problem and causes migraines or keeps the pain going, is I've started seeing a masseuse, not regularly, only when I have a bad migraine. And I would describe it as life-changing. It really nipped it in the bud along with the other things. The massage really helps. I don't like doing that though because it's expensive, and I don't want to have to keep shelling out for massages just because I have a headache. Sorry if that was too loud. One thing I've done recently for myself is I've downloaded an app called Migraine Buddy, and they have a free version. I did pay for the premium version because I want to be able to print reports for my doctor. But one of the things it tracks, now I don't know if this is you, but the change in weather, the change in barometric pressure really affects my head. So one of the things this app does is they have like a green, orange, red system to show you if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And there is a definite correlation between the barometric pressure changing outside and how I'm feeling up here. It definitely makes a difference. I might not necessarily get a full headache, but it definitely affects my mood. And then other times I just flat out get a terrible headache. The app, the medications, talking to my doctor, the massage, I actually have changed how I sleep. I used to have all these pillows and things. Now I lay almost flat to try to keep that alignment. And I do a lot of stretching to try to release the tension. I do all of those things, try to get enough sleep. I take melatonin at night. I do all of those things to try to avoid migraines. What do I do to try to be productive even though I might have a migraine? One, there is a lot of self-talk. Wow. Because if you're a migraine sufferer and it's keeping you from getting stuff done, I'm guessing you spend a lot of time beating yourself up mentally. Because I know I do. In my head, I'm going through all the things that I wish I could be doing and I can't. And then when you finally get rid of the migraine, you're so overwhelmed with all the things you were supposed to be doing that it kind of like sends you back into that spiral. So I am trying to talk to myself in a different way. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be forgiving. One of the tricks I use is if my friend were a migraine sufferer and they weren't able to get done what they wanted to accomplish in the day, what would I say to them? What would I say to them? It's hard. It's hard because it's like, okay, how many days in a row can I just forgive myself? But you have to. You have to. And you can't compare yourself to anyone else. Can't do it. So you have to work on self-talk. You are being productive because you're healing. You're doing the best you can with what you have. There will be a good day when you can get things done. And that's the flip side of this. So then when you feel good, you have to take advantage of those days. Like today is one of those days. I feel pretty good. So I'm trying to crank out some video, some writing, and make sure that I take advantage of the days that I don't have a migraine. So that those go hand in hand. The self-talk, trying to be positive, and then take advantage of the times that you feel good. I mentioned the migraine app. That can help with your productivity too, because if you can see when there's also an app for barometric pressure changes, and I think it's some kind of weather app. It's got a purple icon and I can't think of it, but I'll post it up here when I edit the video. But it also alerts you to weather changes. And if you can predict when that trigger is going to happen, like if you're one of those people like me where the weather affects you, then you can predict, you can plan what you're going to do for the week based on those pressure changes, and have an easier day. Speaking of easier day, on the days that I can't focus or I'm in pain, I try to do easier tasks, things that I could kind of do in my sleep, like send emails, post on social media, things like that, things that aren't very taxing. I try to save the writing and the outlining and the hard work for the days that I feel really good. It's tricky because there's a lot more of that than the other stuff, but I'm still trying to find a balance. Journaling, sometimes I journal because it helps I download all the junk in my brain before I get started on actual writing. I don't like journaling. I'll confess, I hate journaling. And I limit it to 1 page in this journal right here. 1 page. And then I get started on my work. It helps just get rid of the gunk, and then I can focus a little bit better. I talk to other migraine sufferers. What do they do to work through their condition to get things done? That's also very helpful. And frankly, it's just helpful to know that you're not the only one, that you're not the only person who struggles with this. And everyone has such different symptoms and different triggers. It's just all such a mystery. So just talking to other migraine sufferers can sometimes give you insight into what the heck is happening with you. I work with my doctors. I tell them everything that's going on. Like I said, I'm going to print out a report to take with me. There's some things I want to try. There's some things that aren't working. I have an excellent neurologist that I see. She is fantastic. For instance, I was taking Topamax, and that was really scary because it took away my brain completely. I would have chunks of time that went missing. I couldn't read the restroom, the signs on the restroom doors at a Barnes & Noble one day. I couldn't figure out which restroom I was supposed to go to. So I stopped taking Topamax, thank goodness. And that's when I started giving myself the Ajovy shots. But working with my doctors has also helped. Other things I do to try to get things done when I'm having trouble is there's a YouTube channel called How to ADHD. And even though I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, a lot of the problems that I have getting things done are similar, with the brain fog and not being able to focus. And I watch her channel for techniques that she uses to get things done. Things like changing your location, taking my laptop and going somewhere else to try to change my environment and get the juices flowing. Plus it helps you focus because you're not distracted by the other things that you're supposed to be getting done in your house. Starting on a smaller task that is easier to kind of ramp up that vibe, that energy to work yourself up to where you can get done the thing that you wanted to get done. She has a lot of great techniques on staying productive when you can't focus. And I'll link to her channel in the description. So if you want to check her out. One new thing is that a friend of mine got me this planner, the anti-planner. I'm going to try it out. It's got, I'm feeling stuck, like things to try when my brain isn't working the way it's supposed to. The Pomodoro method, that's something else that I use to get things done when I'm not feeling great. If you're not familiar, the Pomodoro method, I think it's 20 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest time. I can't remember the exact numbers, but basically you work for a period of time, not like an hour, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then you have like a 5 or 10 minute break. But I find that very, very helpful because for that 20 minutes or whatever, I just put everything else away and focus. And then afterwards you can stretch, you can get a drink, you can, I don't recommend checking your email or your voicemail because you might get too distracted. But one thing it does help also is it limits the productivity time. So I'm not burning out, because if I'm not having a good day, one of the things that my husband came up with is he'll say to me, is this a 15-minute day or a 2-hour day? So the days that I'm not feeling good, I try to at least get 15 minutes of writing done. 15 minutes is doable. That's kind of like the Pomodoro method. On the days that I'm feeling great, I might write for 2 hours. But on the days I'm not feeling good, I limit my productivity. I try to really lower those expectations and limit how much I'm going to work, not only to protect myself, but to keep from burning out. So that's how I got the migraine. That's what the migraine did to me. And that's how I'm dealing with the migraine and how I try to deal with productivity. It's all a mess. I'm not an expert. I am not an expert. I've only been getting migraines for 3.5 years. Certainly not an expert on productivity or writing books. But that's my personal journey. And if there's anything in all that ranting that I just said that can help you either A, take away your migraines, or B, help you get things done while you're suffering, I hope I helped you. I hope I had said at least something in there that can help you on your own creative, chronic medical condition journey. And if I did say something that helped, give me a thumbs up, because then other people who suffer from migraines are more likely to see this video. And I appreciate you watching. I wish I had a solution for all of us. Maybe something in there that I talked about is something you haven't tried and will be your solution. I don't know. But you're not alone. You know, if you suffer from migraines and you're not getting done what you want to get done, you are not alone. We're all in the boat. We are all in the boat, circling, looking for the solution. Thanks so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate you.